They were beating Lazarus. They were doing it like fairly convincing, and then they would lose to a team who hadn't even won a match in the whole season. So
yeah, that was
really some inconsistencies there, and hopefully those inconsistencies for them can be worked out, because obviously with them going to Texas in just a few, actually really just a few weeks, it's like 2 weeks time, we're going to be in the United States together in 2 weeks time.
It's going to be amazing. Can't complain.
That's not the word I was going to use.
Oh, you're going to
fantastic was the word I was going to use.
Oh, I'll wait for you to say something opposite because you're with me.
No, I was being nice. See, I can't even be nice around this guy. Don't worry, we'll get him to squeal like a pig later on. But they get to play in Texas, and they're obviously going for a chance to play in Brazil as well here. So they're trying to continue that streak. And again, continue some momentum. You know, get some confidence built up for you. See what you can do into this this offline event where a lot of teams don't have that experience unless you're forZe or you're Lazarus or Noble.
Well, this is right, and with UnBreakable's already with that qualification spot in the NA Pro Series, I think it's a good boost for them just due to the fact that they've not played on stream before, so I reckon they will be a little bit nervous, there will be a bit of pressure for them, but it's nice to get out of the way now rather than feeling that way at an offline final, because it's a huge jump, I think.
And there's still even a bigger jump. I'd still say it's a big jump from even here till there as well, because obviously now you're playing on a stage, you're playing in front of an audience, you're playing with people that you probably never met in your life. I would assume you generally have not met in your life when it comes to playing here online. And you have to kind of come together in such a rough time, maybe even a little bit of jet lag in there, though I'm not going to give you any excuses. You better play to the best of your ability. We gamers have odd hours anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you're having to wake up at, let's see, it's like 9 hours or 7 hours behind.
That kind of fits our time zone anyway, really. So whenever they wake up, it's probably like, oh, we wake up at 9 a.m. instead of like some other time. So
9 a.m.?
Yeah.
It's like gamer time. We're talking like noon or like 2 p.m. the latest, or the earliest, actually.
That's what I mean. So like a 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. wake up call, they'll be like, oh, okay, so I've
rested,
got a North American sleeping pattern in EU. So
it's true. It's always easier going west, I feel like. No, is it going east? One direction is always easier. And the one direction we're going to be going to now is our first match of the day. That was terrible. I'm sorry. It's going to be UnBreakable now up against forZe, and we're going to see what the boys can do here as we head over to Paradise Islands. We're going to kick off our best of 3, and things have started off here. And we were expecting a certain player to be in here for UnBreakable. Are we seeing him?
I think we have done, yeah. So there is one player there, and finally, like, we get to see not just him, but the entire lineup now. So I want to see what forZe can do to stop this and see how well UnBreakables do here. And it's the first time on stream, so there will feel a little bit of pressure. We'll have to see how well they do points-wise. But as long as they keep it close and keep it in range, it should be okay. But we'll find out during this first game.
Well, maybe Lord Beerus can give Jiren some tips here on how to go. He's not saying, so I don't know what kind of thing he can be powered up into. Maybe learn Ultra Instinct here, as they have been able to get themselves on the board after being almost shut out on the get-go, being down 75-0. They do have control of the points. We see forZe are going to be coming back in. Jiren quickly going to fall here. Clearly, he did not power up nearly enough he needed to deal with this, and Jamie just going to back away.
Yeah, Jay was way too weak in that kind of position. He wanted to try and get some damage done from far away instead, just bait and switch. But so far, double elimination there from Deathface, doing great. Oh, such good control on that hill, but in the end, forZe managed to take that back and managed to contest it.
Yeah, Beerus is not really a good chance you're going to survive this one. She gets taken down by Stace in here with the snipe. It's a nice little support here out of him. We haven't really seen too many snipers, actually, over the course of the last 2 weeks of play we have seen on this map. But nice to see the adaptations out of these teams to change things up and have that one player to kind of sit back and prepare. And Jiren gets himself a double.
Yeah, it can be a little bit hectic at times. Sometimes the snipe's not really too much of use. If the scout, then fair enough, like gives you that extra bit of boost in your speed to try and get around the map where you want to be, like for quick flanks or just trying to catch up with your teammates to bait and switch them afterwards, play a little bit more coordinated. But, you know, forZe had a little bit more of an extended lead here. UnBreakable's managed to catch up a little bit more, but they seem to be falling apart a little bit here.
forZe falling apart, or you're saying UnBreakable?
UnBreakable.
They seem to be, yeah. I think they've been struggling to get like a solid hold. Yeah, they can get control of the point eventually, but they're still going to be down quite a few points. They're going to be down now about 300, as Zali's now going to be on a kill streak here, or elimination streak, and now pushing back in. Jiren's going to get the snipe from long range. Jay's going to get elimination here onto Stacey as well, and eventually get control back, but at what cost? They're still down by quite a bit.
Yeah, they're going to have to hold the hill for at least a good minute here and just keep the frags going. They're doing that so far, but Deathface, a bit of an unusual position there, holding literally in the middle. I think he's trying to be a little bit unorthodox, but that's asking a little bit too much here. forZe now, a double elimination from him, and it's a bit stranger because they seem to be gelled a lot more together in Wolfpack with that snowball effect compared to the guys on the UnBreakable squad. But triple elimination there, as you saw from Larson, just to add insult to injury there.
I was really hoping you would start barking there for a second when you mentioned Wolfpack. I was really hoping for it. But it doesn't matter. 932 points, and they are continuing this streak. Going to be up about 400 in a few seconds. Deadly on a triple limb run. Deathface is able to get back in here with the limb himself, but it's not really going to do too much as now the push is coming through. Hale gets a final elimination through. And there you have it. That's going to be our first map done here as forZe takes the victory with relative ease.
Yeah, that was very quick. You know, you said it before where Larson had that triple, Deadly had another one afterwards, Hale with a double of his own. So the fragging potential from forZe was so strong. But one of the things to point out there from forZe is the fact that, you know, they were pushing around certain areas which you normally wouldn't at times, but at the same time they managed to get the high ground quite often. They were just putting so much pressure and just suffocating Unbreakables. They couldn't really find a way to break out of it.
Well, when you're unbreakable, you have a hard time breaking things and breaking back into a map, but hopefully not into a match. I'm getting really good at this, I swear. I don't know why, as I see Camille there smiling. Hi, Camille. How you doing? Anyways, so we're going to be getting to our second map. It's going to be Old Factory, some TDM. Are you expecting... So, okay, we've had some contradictory play. Military Warehouse, some slow passive play, get the lead, sit back. Atrium, we've seen the likes of... we've kind of seen both, I feel like, sometimes.
Yeah.
What do you feel like on Old Factory?
I think it's going to be the same outcome. At this stage, I think Unbreakables is feeling too much pressure on stream. I could be wrong. It could just be the fact that not having the greatest days. But then again, they've safely the bracket quite well, getting to the semi-finals. But forZe has been, you know, a force to be reckoned with. They've been so strong the last couple of cups. It seems like...
forZe to be reckoned with?
Yeah, I did think about that, but I was like, nah, I'm just going to just throw it under the bus a little bit. But yeah, forZe just seem way too strong right now. Unbreakables with, I wouldn't say a miracle at this point, but they need to really be careful on how they're going to push up on certain parts of this map.
I mean, a miracle, you know, you're really just going straight in there. It's like there's no other way they can win. No, they need a miracle. They need a Hail Mary. They need something going on. We can see the top scores here for both teams. forZe with Deadly, 285. I feel like we said his name a ton when it comes to top fragging for his team. And then 257 here for Jiren. 11 eliminations, tournament of power in his control. His universe will be safe for now if forZe decides to wish the All-Universe to stay alive after this tournament.
That is right, and with Deadly now, 285 points, and that game was actually quite quick. As you know, if it went all the way, it could have at least 300, no problem. But I'm trying to figure out what Unbreakables can actually do here. You know, Jiren, he did a great job there as well, but some of the other members were kind of like a little bit lost. You know, they're on their own quite a bit, not waiting for the Death Saga to actually push up together, which was a little bit strange considering how well they've done in previous cuts. But you never know. You know, on this next map, we could change things a bit.
I think for me, it was Stason on sniping. He actually got quite a few eliminations. He was able to beat Deathface multiple times in these like sniper battles. He was able to get some good control and not to mention some good early damage in before they did actually get into a big skirmish. We're loading to our second map here. It's going to be kicking off in just a second as both teams, you can't see it, but I can, are dancing things off here. And we're going to be kicking off now our second map here at our best of three. So far, forZe with the 1-0 lead. Will they maintain it, get the 2-0, and get themselves to another final consecutively back-to-back? Or will Unbreakable do the unthinkable here and take us to map 3?
Yeah, I hope they can, because I want to see a little bit more from Unbreakables here, but it would be a little bit weird if they actually don't, but they really need to try and get this top mid control and actually put the pressure on. But it seems like right now Unbreakables are playing a little bit more passive. They're trying to, you know, just try and wait for the fights to come to them, trying to let forZe make the first mistake. But
that was a 2v3, by the way.
Yeah, that was, yeah, it wasn't too good from the Unbreakable side there, but look at the point gap already. Such a huge margin, especially on a map like this. They need to really try and figure out how they're going to do this. Like, yeah, sure, fair enough, we can play a little bit passive and wait for an opening, but forZe are the kind of team that'll force out the first mistake on you, not the other way around.
Come on, you're going to get it there eventually. You're going to force out
a mistake.
Force out a mistake. And maybe we're going to see one here coming in as we're finally starting to see Lord Beerus start to show up here. He gets an elimination, 27 points on the board. Jiren at 31, who was the top scorer for his team. Hale actually at 41 as that 2v3 happened with him and Deadly. You can already see the damage being done. Now he's peeking around the corner against 3, trying to back away. Just force it into 1v1 again. Wins out this one. Going to go for another exchange and gets it. And gets some damage done for the rest of the team to flank back in and get the cleanup.
Yeah, that's the entire team down on the side of Unbreakables there. Hale, you know, there was 3 people looking at him, and I'm so surprised that he was able to get 2 eliminations off and managed to pull back. So good stuff from him, but might have been a few mistakes there on the Unbreakables side. So a little bit of a surprise, but another 3 members down now for Unbreakables, and this score margin is just getting more, well, just getting far worse now for Unbreakables. They really need to try and change up what they're doing here.
Yeah, 103 points. It might not seem that big when we're talking about King of the Hill or Control, but when it comes to TDM, that's where that scoreline actually is quite a big difference. Though we can imagine, as we saw last week, a couple of really crazy comebacks actually of like 100-point differences in like the last few seconds, and to come out to win by just a couple of points themselves. It seems like the scoreline isn't really shrinking too much here, Lethal.
Yeah, they've only managed to catch up just a little bit. Jim with a very nice triple there, just to kind of get him back in a little bit more, but you saw there they're getting refrags anyway. Hell of an elimination streak there. Stating gets another one down as well, but this is one of the biggest score margins we've seen in the TDM probably since we first started doing these cups.
Yeah, and you see, forZe just doesn't seem to care that they have this lead. They just want to continue to push. Again, they're just keeping this aggression on, not allowing UnBreakable to get comfortable and set up in a way that they can potentially come back. This one, Jiren should be falling here. Larson, there we go, gets the shot, even as it was stout here with the sniper in the last second. 407 to 217. We're 93 points away, and now even less for forZe to close this out in a quick 2-0.
Yeah, it seems like it could be that way. forZe have just been literally keeping them at bay the entire time, suffocating them, keeping that map control, and it just feels like UnBreakables have absolutely no answer.
It's like UnBreakable's grasping for something, but they're just being denied and held back hand in hand to stop them from actually getting through, broken into that actual plane of existence, and a plane of a universe that they can come back from this one. 298 up against the 465, and it doesn't seem like there's a chance in the world here, and these last eliminations should almost do it. And there we go, and that's before forZe taking the 2-0.
Yeah, Deadly with a nice triple elimination to finish things off there. Even so, with one of the forZe players, he just went in front of 3 of them, but like was just trying to take up as much damage as possible. But Deathface, very interesting there. Only 1 kill throughout the whole game. That's a bit of a shock, because we haven't even seen anything like that. Normally you see quite a lot of assists going by, or like at least some damage dealt to kind of replicate. But yeah, 1 elimination, that's...
Deathface? More like Deadface.
Oh, yeah, I'm just not going to comment on that.
Sorry, no, come on. I don't mean any bad words by it, but you know, you have a guy named Deathface, more like, come on. Anyways, yeah, that was well played though. You saw Hale again, he really shined quite a bit. I think we've seen that forZe multiple times. I think it was Hale yesterday was saying he's like not yesterday, sorry, last week. He's not even necessarily the top player for the team, but like 3 out of 4 matches or maps that we saw him on, he was the top scorer, and he's doing it yet again.
Yeah, as you can see there, +7, contributing to 16 eliminations there. On the other side, Jiren again, he seems to be one of their top players, but I'm still surprised with a couple of their members only getting 1 or 2 eliminations. I'm not trying to say that it's difficult, or sorry, it's very easy to get some eliminations here and there, but they had a lot of potential to try and get some of those refrags going. But when you're in a, like, quite separated, but you can kind of trade off, but the map's so small, it's not exactly hard.
Let's be less cruel to them and say that when you have a scoreline like that, obviously you're going to have people not able to get more frags when it's just that one-sided of a game, so that's understandable. But I agree, like when you had the early 3-on-2, it was Deadly and Hale were able to come out ahead and win that. You shouldn't be winning 2-on-3s. You shouldn't be losing 3-on-2s. You should be able to focus the fire down, hit the shots, and clean them up quickly. But there was multiple occasions where they would lose these situations. I can think even like a 4-man push. I think that was up against Hale. He gets the first one, backs off, comes back out, gets a second one, gets a damage onto the third, and then Deadly comes in to clean them up. That just should ideally not be happening in a perfect world if everyone's playing at the same kind of level. So a little bit unfortunate for UnBreakable, but they again come through further. They get through out of the top 16 into the top 4, and they have a chance to play in the 3rd, 4th place match against the loser of our next game, which will be Lazarus and Noble.
Yeah, it's just, you know, adding more sort to injury, really. It's like Noble and Lazarus for a 3rd place playoff, it's going to be extremely difficult for them. But UnBreakables, they've beaten quite a few times before in the past.
True.
So it's not like it's not happened before. Like, it's not like it's going to be a miracle. It's going to be very hard work for them. We've seen it happen. So why can't they do it again? There's no reason for them not to.
Well, you know what? I think we're going to be heading to a break. I'm pretty sure we're going to be heading to a break. There's definitely a break coming, as I'm going to be told here in a second if I'm allowed to go to that break. But you know what? I'm going to trust in our production crew that they're ready to go to this. And they are ready. See, I knew it. They're on point here at ESL Poland in Katowice. Guys, we're going to head to that break. When we come back, Noble versus Lazarus in just a few.
Point A is under attack.
Welcome back, everyone, to Season 2 of the Guns Boom Challenger Series. I'm Jason Kaplan, he's Lethal, and I learned in the break he's very, very ticklish. I'll show you at some point during the show here, because we have not only Europe, but North America to come your way today here, Lethal. We have our first finalist. It's forZe. Playing well. Playing very well, as we saw there on TDM, and UnBreakable now looking to play against the loser here of our next match, which is Noble and Lazarus.
Yeah, at this point, Noble needs it more than anything
very
at the moment.
You touch his leg, you get your hand near his leg, and he just instantly freaks out. Sorry.
Yeah, you don't really need to touch me. Literally, you can just try, and I'll just like moving straight away across.
It's the tension.
I think it is, yeah. It's the paranoia setting in very much. But yeah, Noble, I think they need this more than Lazarus at this stage, just due to the fact that in the first cup, got knocked out straight away, no points there. Lazarus already have something coming third last time,
True.
Which is fair enough. So not too much pressure on them, but at this point, forZe are guaranteed quite a lot of points now, again, at least top 2 in this cup. So they're going to be storming ahead by quite a margin now with these teams competing against each other.
And if I'm not mistaken, they don't really have much experience on LAN.
forZe, they have a lot of experience on LAN, but they haven't been able to show up on LAN. Yeah. So they haven't really accomplished too much. They normally get knocked out very early or straight away. So hopefully after a couple, or not a couple of offline events, but after all these cups, hopefully third time lucky, we might be able to sort something out here.
Third time is a charm. Definitely, and we'll see if they can when they represent here Europe in Texas. Hope they don't eat too much barbecue, because they're going to need to be able to play at a top level here, obviously to compete against some of the best teams in the world. Lazarus versus Noble, $100,000 on the line here. Who's winning?
This is a weird one.
There's not actually money on the line right now. Well, there is, but not $100,000. It's more of, if you're right, you get $100,000. If you're wrong, you give me $100,000.
Oh, is that how it's going to work? Is it?
But I'm not giving you the 100K ESL is.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to have to properly think about it then. But it's weird because with these two teams online, it's very back and forth. I think Lazarus beat them last time 2-0, if I remember rightly.
Well, yeah, because Noble got knocked out like right away off the get-go. So you're saying Lazarus?
I'm going to say Lazarus.
I'm going Noble.
Okay, so you're just going to say the opposite of what I'm going to say then?
Yes. No. Yes. Yes. There you go. Kicking things off on Paradise Sign on some King of the Hill here. And off the bat, we are going to see Noble with the initial lead. So it looks like Jason Kaplan here might be wrong, because they're going to be losing the point in just a second as Lazarus just completely overwhelmed them. Lord Mauno, you don't have much HP. And I actually kind of like that idea of using your teammate to tank things out for you so you can get some extra damage in, since your teammate can take a shot or two. Doesn't work out too well since he gets dropped right away, and Lazarus are off to a fantastic start.
Yeah, they couldn't ask for a better start, as you just mentioned there. You see Lazarus there trying to flank round, and it is quite successful. Managed to get one down, but almost ran past one, but managed to take him down anyway. So that's 2 down. Oh. Lazarus here, but wow, what a rocket there. And Mano and Romeo managed to take them both down there. Mix managed to get 2 of his own just to trade back, but Divine King managed to clean up there and try and get this hill down.
He's trying to stay alive here, get some damage in. He has done a decent amount here to Gonzaldino. See Lord Mano have an opportunity to get back in. Romeo might have actually open up the floodgates here as they do swarm completely back over this point. And with all 4 players there, I would imagine it's going to be a relatively easy take. Lord Mano not going to have a lot of health, though. Neither will Romeo, so I think they could be actually dropped here from behind as the flank comes through. And Excellence is going to be able to shut this down after losing 2 players.
Yeah, Gonzo had a good double elimination there. If he managed to get that third, they could have got the hill a lot quicker, but it doesn't matter anyway. Even though there's quite a large margin between the two teams in terms of score, Noble do have the hill, and they're in good position here. They need to make sure to keep that control, get those angles in, and not push too far on spawn. But even though they pushed up quite then, they wait for the respawn immunity. Managed to push in a little bit further anyway, but so far Noble are getting the slays, but doesn't seem like they're able to capitalize too much in the point situation.
You know what would be great, by the way? If we got like a caster voice pack in here.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
We get our voices in the game. I actually do have one item in a game based off of me. It was a flamethrower. I'll tell you the story off air. It involved chilies and eating them, and it was really hot and spicy. 556 to 465 here for Lazarus. They're playing with relative ease, though. I will say Noble is clearly giving them a run for their money. Obviously, as you can see, the scoreline's relatively close, and they're still consistently trying to fight back. But time and time again, Lazarus are rising from the dead here to retake and maintain the point.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if anyone bought that voice pack, but you know, you can let me know after.
I would buy it. My mother would buy it. Oh man, my mom. She'll stay up till like 4 a.m. just to watch me commentate, and she's over in the U.S. on West Coast, so.
Oh, she's nice. She's nice. I don't know about mine. Mine probably will, depending if she's asleep or not. But looking at it now, Lazarus still maintaining that lead. It's been almost the same throughout the entire game, and it's been a real struggle here as Noble try and claw back, but with excellence now, just doing such a great job fragging here. But I think as we saw there, managed to get 2 down, but it could be a little bit too late. But every time I say it, they always seem to make a comeback. But we'll see how it goes.
It's like you're trying not to say like good puns or like good wordplay.
I'm not even thinking about that.
Excellence with the great play. Excellence with the excellent play. Would have been my words of choice there. And his words of choice right now is a triple elimination. 893 to 627. And the scoreline, yes, it does sometimes close the distance between the two, but eventually it comes out the way of blue as Lazarus is about to close out here our first map.
Yeah, Excellence has just been on fire for the last part of the game, but it's going to be a little bit too late here. It's only a matter of time before Lazarus do close this first game out, taking this to game 2. But, you know, good run from Noble in the end, but they just really struggled to try and get anything going from the second half.
I think I might want to change my prediction here.
Yeah? Oh, well, it's a bit late now. It's already done the first game, but...
No, it's my prediction. I'm changing it. Instead of a 2-0 for Noble, it's going to be a 2-1 for Noble.
Oh, okay.
They're going to come back in Old Factor in Europe Square. I'm calling it right now. I'm betting absolutely nothing on it, but I will take a couple shots later on today of, obviously, water, because that's all I drink.
Of course it is. But well, you can have your water. That's
drink
fair.
that mug on air, because there's some logos on it that probably are not pre-approved.
Yeah.
Should have had yours, which is just completely blue.
Yeah.
I had to stand out like a star. And not only did I try to stand out like a star, so did Lazarus. They did a great job. I'm actually curious to see who topped for them in score, because they were just seeming to all play with all cylinders firing.
Yeah, they were all quite similar there. Like you saw there, I think it was Romeo who had like 9 frags and 15 assists, contributing to 24 frags throughout the entire time. Like, you know, getting so much DPS done. And Excellent just went completely off throughout the entire like last third of that segment, and just couldn't stop him really in that point. And no surprise there, he's the top of the leaderboard on his team.
Only by +1, but doesn't matter. He did some good work here. You can see Nokia. I mean, I can imagine the decibel levels in his place as he was playing. 233 points if you saw him in Katowice. But unfortunately, it takes more than one to really stand up for your team to be able to claw yourself into a map victory. And I think in general, I mean, even though you can see Nokia does have the score lead out of everyone in the actual server playing, that all in all, Lazarus was just playing better, just hands down across the entire team.
It's funny because both these teams are more offline squads. You know, we said it before where forZe are like they're more of an online team at this stage because they still need to kind of excel in that offline area, like at the event. So that's what I'm saying. With the third event coming up, should be able to help them out a little bit more. But with Noble and Lazarus, they are most offline teams. In the online side of things, it's a lot of mixed results. Like, you know, even if you see Lazarus win this, it wouldn't surprise me if Noble brought it back and forth, vice versa, because they change their strategies quite a lot. And it's not always the same, which is not too much of a surprise there, because they're trying to change things up against each other to try and get one over.
I can see a couple of weapon choices being used here between the two teams. Pretty much similar. There's only one big difference between the two. But, I mean, I feel like in general, it's not about the weapons you're using. Yeah, there's some maps, as we were talking about before, when it comes to like playing long range, getting a lot of burn damage in is really helpful. But all in all, I think it mostly just comes down to those shotguns. Playing up close and personal against each other, who can get the shots off at the right time, who can hit the shots most importantly, and who can kind of bait around their teammates as well.
Yeah, it's like weapons like the Avalanche is like, it's very consistent, like depending on like how close a range it is. The Porcupine is good with the Afterburner, but you don't really see too many people using that. It really does depend on map choice. So I wouldn't say it's probably a little bit rarer than what you normally see, but it's not too much of a surprise there from what we see in weaponry.
All right, well, we should be getting into our second map here in just a few moments. It's going to be Old Factory, some TDM style. I'm telling you, I'm giving you a chance here, Lethal. Are you going to jump on the wagon with me and join in when it comes to Noble being the team to take it?
If it was a lot closer, I would have said, you never know, like it could change up a little bit.
It's okay.
But,
it's okay. It means it's going to be that much sweeter when Noble win, and I get to rub this in your face.
You won't be rubbing anything in my face, because at this stage, if they play like they did game 1, yeah, it's not going to happen.
Okay. All right. Well, let's kick things off here as we're dropping in. And as Noble's going to drop 2, tying things up at 1 apiece, it's going to be happening. The stars have aligned. I'm sorry, I was thinking about just tickling you again, but that just would be weird. Anyways, Lazarus with the 1-0 lead. Migs off the bat here, goes for the nade, tries to come around the corner, spots out quite a few players, and that nade to counter them does some decent damage through. So far, I mean, we're almost 30 seconds in, and just finally the first frag comes through.
Yeah, they was trying to like bait each other out to see what they can do. You saw a good frag from Noble earlier, but Lazarus managed to capitalize just that little bit. A triple elimination from Excellence. He's just carrying on from that first game from where he left off towards the end. Great stuff from him, and we've got to see what kind of openings Noble can find here on the back foot.
Maybe that's where they want to play, maybe on the back foot. But you can see my boys in red, Noble, in the lead here. Getting a little nervous, Lethal, as they're maintaining this lead, growing it even further.
Okay, you could be right here. You could be, but it's still early doors here. The scores are still very close in this second game.
This big nose here isn't just for looks; it's for sniffing out results.
But I've got a big nose as well, so.
You know, let's not compare the size of our noses here, because that's just not cool.
You started it.
I did. And I will end it. As you can see, Mig's able to end the life of Lord Mono. Not a big difference in score here. But it just kind of shows, if you compare this to our last match here, forZe and Unbreakable, just how close these two teams are.
Yeah, at this point in time with these two teams, they're so closely matched, it can be depending on the map choice. And as you see from now, TDM can be quite a Noble's favourite at times, depending on the circumstances.
Migs. Someone's backtracking.
I am not backtracking.
Noble, TDM, it's their map style. Okay, it's their game mode.
It could, maybe if it was Saloon, then I would say Lazarus would have been 2-0, but looking at it now, it's still increasing the lead more and more. Triple elimination there already. Won't be able to get the fourth, as you can see there, because with Romeo, he's just trying to get some damage done, wait for his teammates to respawn, and then push straight back out again.
I love their little logos too. Gods, a boom. Did pick up that victory, and they have a chance to defend it as well later on in the year. I think it has been announced where it is, right? I don't want to like jump into it.
I want to say fired. Not 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Well, kind of for the next rendition of Gods of Boom, they obviously pre-qualified through since they did win the last one here in Katowice, and they're trying to show why they did win as they're looking to pick up this victory on TDM. Nice little play there to focus it on Lord Mono, and that scoreline is still consistently going away of Noble. 130 points out here from taking the map and taking us to map 3 and proving that Jason here might be right. It's the most important part of this series.
I'd probably say least important part at this point because no one cares about your opinion. You have to understand that.
There's that one person out there that's like, yeah, Jason, I knew it.
Is that your mum who's watching?
Hey, she still counts, all right?
But yeah, as you mentioned before, Noble's still maintaining that lead. Lazarus is going to really struggle here to see if they can make any kind of comeback. But Nokia now really trying to step things up here, which he has done, been so aggressive with the Avalanche. But I think Lazarus are going to play the waiting game here, see if they can get some damage done before they actually push up. But at some point, Noble going to find that opening and push straight through. The pressure's on Lazarus here, but Noble's going to have to make some huge mistakes in order to let this one go.
I'm getting a little worried now. The commentators' curse coming through. They're going to trade kill for kill there. 466 to 421. First to 500 with 1 minute and 25 seconds left to go. Lazarus have slowed the pace down here. And Noble are forcing Lazarus the ones to aggress against them. You can see a nice little 2v2. The nade going to come around the corner, bounce off the box. Not do too much damage. And the counter nade comes in as well. And you can see just a lot of damage being done between the two. But it doesn't matter. If trades are equal, it's going to favor Noble. And they need one more elimination. And there it is.
Oh dear.
Jason is feeling very confident right now here. Just like Giorgio should at 11 kills, 4 assists, 10 here for Migs. Nokia only at 7. But it doesn't matter. They got the victory. They proved me right so far. But we still have one more map to come. I'm like calling it like it's over. Like it's done. It's 2-1. No, it's not. They still have Europe square as the last map to go. Anything can happen. But again, these are the two teams that we've seen represent Europe for so many times. And again, playing here in Katowice just a few weeks back, even though it was a 4-0, it looks like Lazarus have come to play.
They have done. Yeah, Europe square, it's don't really favour either team. Like we've seen from both squads, but they've been managed to keep up with each other. It's always gone neck and neck each way. So I couldn't really ask for a better map choice than Europe square between these two teams. And I was going to mention it, but it's already come up on the screen already. Excellent contributing to 19 kills there. And as you see with KM, he's got contributing to 15 there. Great job from him. Put so much damage down and just being that real pain in the backside.
19 though, compared to the 15. But look at the score difference. So 35 between the two. Really showing that the kill streaks that Giorgio got going for himself were able to net that big difference between the two, even though he was 4 actual eliminations behind. But there we go. So that's our second map done. Europe square. Some good little control point here between the two. I think we've seen when it comes to all-out battles that Noble's going to be better, at least on that map. And control point is obviously a mix of King of the Hill and TDM. So it's pretty much like the perfect map to finish this series off on.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better map choice here. If there was one in favour of the other, then we'll just be like, we could predict what could happen here. But every time these two teams have played against each other in Europe Square, even at some stages where one team will have a massive lead, like somehow to make comebacks left, right and centre, they are both teams who can easily clutch up. And they know that with a map like Europe Square, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. An incinerator used by most of these players, apart from KM using the Odin, which I've noticed it's a bit more of a trend now. We saw a mix of Odins and incinerators, but now it's become more of the incinerator, which is not too much of a surprise with that afterburn effect.
And yeah, and the fact that you can kind of take a shot back away. There's so much cover to play with that you can obviously get some chip damage in. But then the other way around, if they rush around the corner on you with a shotgun, then you're obviously going to be in for a very, very bad time.
Yeah, that was the problem. And Lazarus had there. They were bait and switching so well towards the end, and there's like 3 of them going back and forth. But as some say, when someone puts you to the avalanche like that, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, and again, this we've kind of set the last couple of weeks here. A weapon selection, to kind of not talk about the game that we've always mentioned, is super important. Like if you have your sniper out, someone runs a corner against you because you're not expecting to be there with a shotgun, well, you're not going to win that fight 9 times out of 10. You shouldn't win that fight 9 times out of 10. So being able to use the right weapon at the right situation, the right time, and of course using the right weapon for the most amount of damage you can get done depending on where you are is super important. I would say even more important than the actual aiming factor when it comes to Guns of Boom.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's just some stage like you saw towards the end, they're looking for the 2-for-1s, but in that kind of stage, like if you're so close to winning and you've got like a decent margin in terms of score, you can just run in and trade and they'll be happy about that. But Lazarus, it's going to be more pressure on them. They're looking for the 2-for-1s and 3-for-1s, but they all had the low ground. No one was top mid just due to the fact that Noble had that covered. Even though they weren't in the top mid position, they were making sure they had no kind of height advantage and they had to stick together no matter what situation it was. But they're using the consumables so well. And
they switched the pace up. Did you notice that? Like the first, let's say 80% of the actual map, they were really aggressive, just duking it out. Last 20%, they're like, all right, we have the lead. Let's just sit back, and then wherever they do come from, just get the 1-for-1 trade, get the 2-for-2 trade, just trade with them equally. Even they didn't even need to trade necessarily equally at that point with the lead that they did have. So it's just let's just get the eliminations that we can, pick up an easy win, make Jason happy and right, and then move on to our third map.
I am a little bit worried. Your prediction could actually.
You want to change your prediction?
No, I'm not going to change.
Good. I wasn't going to give you the chance. If you were going to, I was going to be like, no, you man up. You stick with your prediction.
Oh, I'm going to stick. It's okay. I have a little bit of faith still. It's all good. Just considering the circumstances. But at IEM, we did see Noble pretty much smash him last time round. But it's because it's where we go to what you spoke about before, their play style and how they change it. They don't rush too much. They, when they got the lead or they got some decent control, they change their play style from aggression to passive to, unorthodox styles and getting those angles. They do it so well and so efficiently in comparison to what they did in Season 1. So it's a scary roster to maybe deal with these larger maps like Europe Square.
So if I'm right, by the way, and we do see Noble win, you have to do the North American show. By the way, since it is late night here for us, you do have to turn this into a late night show for us by doing the entire one with no shirt, just jacket.
Yeah, you would like that, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't complain. I think a lot of people out there wouldn't complain. I think it'd be hilarious.
So, you're trying to say everyone's going to funny apart from me?
Well, I'm going to be demasculinized.
You're the masculine one?
No, I'm going to... You make me feel like less of a man because you're going to have like these bulging pecs and these rippling abs you can do laundry on.
Yeah.
Well. He's not allowed to flex in his jackets because he's going to rip it. I remember you telling me about this. Like, he's being modest. He told me about this off air. He's like not allowed to flex because his entire jacket, his entire ensemble just gets ripped to shreds. It happens. I understand. One day maybe I hope to get there. But we'll be heading to our third map in a few months. Just getting doing those curls, doing those bench presses, doing those squats. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
This is going to go down a really bad avenue that I potentially wouldn't be here in the next 20 minutes. We were just waiting for the players to actually get back into this one. We had to remake the lobby since we had a couple of problems with, I think, our spectator getting to the right slot at the right moment.
Yeah, that's understandable. It's understandable. We've gone way off topic there, going from what the next game is going to be to how much weights I do in the gym. I've not been in the gym in a while, so you go a lot more than I do. But yeah, it's not saying much.
That's true. I can go once in a year, and I'd be doing it more than you, I guess, is the direction you were going.
Pretty much, yeah.
We're actually going to, after this North American show, we're going to hit the gym at the hotel, right? You and me?
What, at 1 a.m.? 1 a.m. gym session?
Yeah. Late night sesh?
See, I'm going to say yeah now, but after the broadcast, I'm like, nah, I don't really fancy it. I think bed's calling him.
This is the guy who ordered 2 dinners, by the way, tonight. He ordered a thing of pierogi, and he ordered his own chicken as well. To be fair, the pierogi is actually for us to share later. Anyways,
Yeah,
I don't know why we're so
you're
off topic. We are just waiting, again, for the players to ready up here, and I think we actually do just about have waiting for Divine King to start. And there we go. We should be hopping in a few seconds. So potentially the 2-1 going to be coming in for Noble. Can Lazarus kind of fight back? They had a 3rd place finish in the last cup, which already gets them a ton of points. But I feel like Noble, they definitely are hungrier for it, just for the fact of how disappointed they were with their result in Cup 1, getting knocked out by Lazarus right off the bat and getting 0 points.
Yeah, they need this more than them by a huge margin, considering getting knocked out so early. But Kane with that first strike really helping out there. Migs getting the trade as well on Romeo. Both trade out each other. But looking at this stage, Noble with a great lead to start things off. Normally 2 frags going here, but hopefully with Mano and Divine getting an Excellence with another one down as well. So that's 3 down for Noble. But the points are still in favor and in control for Noble here.
Yeah, this is looking fairly good here. 223 to 138. They do have some decent control on the points. You can see, it was Nokia just trying to hold on for as long as he possibly could. Gonzaldino going to be coming around the corner to help avenge his fallen teammate. Gets a 2nd as well, and Noble should have a 2-1 point hold here in a few seconds. Though I say that, somehow Romeo is just dodging around the statue for as long as possible, waiting for the reinforcements to come back in. Divine King's going to be there and get, I believe, B back for themselves.
That was such a great play as well. It's the little things like that, just to keep yourself alive long enough for some of your teammates to try and push back in and try and help him out. But sadly, due to that death cycle, they were respawn for such a long time. It was just slightly bad timing, but it was a great play by him. Just managed to stay alive. But the fragging ability from Noble so far, they've changed into a completely different team. And I've got Kaplan now just looking at me, nodding, thinking, yeah, this is going to be great. I'm going to be a reverse sweep. But yeah, he could be sadly proving me wrong.
Sadly?
Yeah, it is sadly. Sadly for me, anyway.
They're about to have a 300-point lead here. They're getting really close to it. You see them trying to approach that point here. Nokia going to get one finally. You can see Migs just trying to run into Lord Mono, trying to do something. Maybe just scare him with fright. Hope he has a heart attack and just falls. Back into the respawn queue. But it doesn't matter. Points still being turned. Divine King on a streak. And that lead of almost 300 points has been shut down, has been slowed, has been halted for now. But again, we still have a lot of time left to go here for both these two teams. It's still anyone's game, and look at that. They've been stuck at 750 points for such a long time that we've now seen Lazarus almost get back to his lead down to below 100.
Yeah, what changed things up, Divine King, that triple elimination and a streak as well on top of that. Captain's sweating a little bit now. When there's an 80-point gap, 60-point gap now.
Moment.
Lazarus, oh, it definitely is. Lazarus coming back more and more now. Romeo with a double there as well. Maybe another one. Excellence just manages to get that down now, getting the control and time things up now. I said it before, like Europe Square is one of these maps where it doesn't matter if you're 2 or 3 points down, you can easily make a comeback here. And look at it now, Captain's sweating even more now. Only a 60-point gap. Lazarus taking the lead and hopefully proving me right.
So get me some deodorant because I'm getting sweaty here. You can see Lazarus trying to charge in. That's going to be Lord Mono. He does get the elimination. I don't even know how, but again, the kills going to be coming back the way here of Noble. 1,937. It's still 2-1 in favor. Well, it's almost 2-1. It's actually 1 in favor of Lazarus, since C and A are both being contested by both these teams. C should be turning blue over to Lazarus' side. And I think in the last few moments, Lazarus have been able to pull back almost a 300-point deficit and take a 200-point lead themselves. That's a 500-point swing if I can do my math correctly, Lethal. And it looks like I'm going to be right here at the 2-1 prediction for Lazarus.
That's right, Lazarus managed to walk away with that. Surprisingly enough, with that 200 or 300 points
took you a second
down.
there.
Yeah, it took, yeah, I realised what you just said then. I was like, no, Lazarus, what we're on about. But anyways, you saw from there, great stuff from Lazarus. Managed to hold the ground, hold the mentality there. You know, when you're in those kind of circumstances, you do drop a little bit, but in terms of morale and all that bits and pieces, great play from Lazarus making the comeback. You saw from there, Noble were kind of separated, quite a lot going on the road, just a little bit too much in some of those 1v2 fights. But so far, from like I said before, the 300-point gap to coming back to win by 200, great stuff from Lazarus.
Yeah, and you can see once we saw Noble lose control of those points and lose control of that map, they struggled to get themselves back into it. They really didn't have an answer for it, unfortunately. And that cost them the match. It cost them the chance to get through into the finals, but they still have a chance to play through up against UnBreakable here in our 3rd place match.
That's right, because the first couple of cups, you know, it can be a bit of a bit of a weird one because the seeding can be quite random due to the fact that not everyone's managed to play to get any points, but it should be able to stalemate itself a little bit more now. Should be fine, should be able to make it a bit more standard. So hopefully now we should see a lot closer matches between these teams as they match up going into the future cups now. And the Viking you saw there with that 15 frag contribution from him, 213 points. And Mig's not too much of a surprise. He's a very good player. He's one sort of guy who does point out the weak spots and does exploit them very well. Even though he went neutral, you can see from the points they did a lot of objective work there.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a generally good story. I'm actually really curious what the points would have been like if Noble was able to keep that streak going. It's just that once they hit like 754 points, they just got stalled there for so long. They got stagnated around that point. I think it took them like a minute and a half to actually break through to above like 850, and then just they didn't really have a chance to stop the rot that was happening. The thing is, you saw even when they were trying to take their first point. Yeah, they were contesting another one at the same time, but they didn't have control of the 1 point that was left open that one team was able to maintain. And that slow trickle really worked against them. And of course, Divine King really stepping up, as well as Excellence. Just locked it down, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Divine King with that triple within the streak earlier with Excellence, complementing that as well. Really kind of was like the game changer in my opinion. You saw at the beginning like the frags were trading off back and forth, but they weren't really getting many of the points money to get the control at all. You know, Noble was still holding it down, and that's the most annoying thing is the fact that if Noble had 2 of the points instead of the 3 and you're trading kills, they're still going to be further and further ahead. It just made things a little bit more difficult. But then again, you know, Lazarus managed to change things up there and managed to turn the whole thing around, and was quite surprised that managed to change things that much there. And yeah, like I said, good stuff from them. It's a little bit surprised here and there, but Lazarus managed to bring it back.
Were you getting a little sweaty there?
I'm not going to lie. I wasn't even sweating. It's just more the fact that when Lazarus were down like by 300, I was like, okay, this could be it. I wasn't even like thinking about it anymore. I was just like, I just assumed you won. I assumed that was it pretty much.
And the best part of it wasn't the fact that Lazarus was losing. It was the fact that I would be winning.
Yeah, and you were just nodding at me. I just saw you call him eye, and I was just like,
I did look at you and have a nice little cheeky grin on my face. It's not about Lazarus winning or Noble winning. It's about me being wrong to you.
But you were wrong.
Yeah, I can respect that. I am wrong, but you know what? We're going to be moving through into our fourth place match in just a few moments of time. It's going to be Noble up against UnBreakable, and I'll be on the other side of this break. Welcome back, everyone, as we break it down and get funky here for the Season 2 Guns of Boom Challenger Series. That music was fantastic. You just saw him. He was doing... What's that one called? The John Travolta? I don't know.
The Night Fever, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We'll just call it Night Fever.
I was doing the conga line.
I
don't know. All I can do is back it up, and that wasn't really 70s appropriate. Anyways, we're going to be getting underway here with our third, fourth place match. Plus, we weren't even alive then. For UnBreakable up against Noble. So Noble, unfortunately, did drop to Lazarus. I was wrong, unfortunately, my prediction. You were happy about that?
No, well...
Yeah, he was happy about that, let's be honest. He wasn't happy that Noble lost, but he was happy that I lost in this little game of life here in my predictions.
I think you cared about it more than I did. I was just like... If I lose, I
saw his leg under the table. Okay, I'm not gonna actually show my leg on stream.
It was shaking.
It was shaking. The whole desk was shaking. I thought there was an earthquake going on here in Katowice. I don't know if they've actually ever had them in the past, but there was definitely a 6.8 magnitude earthquake going on here as he was sweating bullets. And you know who's not going to be sweating bullets here? I would say Noble, as they finally have been able to break through into some good points here. Obviously, this can be a victory that they're going to want to get now as we move into a best of 5, starting things off on Farming Complex. Lethal!
Thank you very much, mate. Well, there's only a small amount of points between third and fourth place, but every little helps from what we've seen in the past to this moment in time. So we'll have to see if UnBreakables can kind of make a bit of a comeback here. It was quite a poor showing against forZe there, or it could just be the fact that forZe were just that strong. We'll find out at this stage anyway, but so far so good for UnBreakables. A great start from them, and they couldn't ask for a better one in all fairness.
Oh my god, look at this score difference. You got Nokia on 0 points, you got Giorgio on 5. Not the best start to these two players who are going to need to definitely step it up here to claw this lead back. But as we did see with Lazarus versus against Noble, versus against, that's a new one. That lead of 300 points that was in that match can quickly be toppled off. Giorgio's going to get the quick knife work, going to slice and dice his way through into a nice dinner. He's eventually going to be laid to rest here for a dinner for the worms.
That is right, yes.
That was a little stretch there.
Yeah, only a tad. But yeah, so there was 3 down for UnBreakables there, and only 1 member left standing, which was Jay. Managed to stay alive enough. Beerus with a double vet of his own. Tried to get a third, but KM managed to stop him. Managed to get 2 nice snipe kills for himself, and didn't really take too much damage in the process, but he's trying to sit back a little bit more, but KM gets another one now. So he's absolutely going off here, slowly catching up, and surely. And look at how Jay just try and get something going. Does get 1 frag, but Mix gets a very important trade, and it looks like now Mix will get a second one.
Oh, Deathface, he's going to be dropped before he gets any points of damage done there. And that lead is just quickly diminishing as quick as my confidence in predicting who's going to win any of these matches. Lord Beerus has a quick opportunity to come in from behind, and unfortunately that back door has been shut down. The lock has been put on it, except Jiren, he's going to bust this one down Terminator style. We'll get a nice little triple.
Yeah, that was a great triple elimination from Jiren there, and so far, like from what we've seen, he's been playing really well. He's been top fragging every time on the board, been very consistent, so it's good to see someone like him come on the board here. Nokia gets 1 and Cam gets another, so it's 2 down now for UnBreakables. An elimination streak from Jiren, so...
He's got no health.
Yeah, he's impressing, but he can't push in too far now. Needs to be careful. I like what he's done here. He's gone back to spawn, he's got the high ground. He knows it's the only thing he can do is try and get some damage done from above, but it doesn't matter. Noble knew what he was up to, knew his game plan, and managed to take him down straight away there.
Are we going to see almost a triple here? C is going to be turned eventually, but they still have control of B. Going to be turning, I think that was A, back to themselves in just a few seconds. As you can see, Mix trying to fight up against Deathface. Eventually going to fall here against the flawless aim out of the face. We're getting close to these final moments here as well. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to go, but I don't think it's going to hit time at all as both teams are approaching that 1,000-point limit, or 1,000 points.
Yeah, that's right. Still a couple hundred left to go here, and neck in neck between these two teams. And both got such a good start, but just letting it slip away here. Noble managed to take over now, and there's not really too much time left. We'll put only about 30 seconds to a minute for UnBreakables to try and come back here. They definitely can, but a couple of them are quite weak, and they need to start pushing up together rather than being a little bit separated. But Deathface, surely he's not going to get away with holding B on his own, and he just doesn't, just barely, as one of the members of Noble, doesn't matter to contest it, and it looks like Noble will be taking his first game.
All right, they have done it here. We didn't do any predictions for this match. I'm not even going to bother to ask it now because I think we both know which way we're going to go after that first map victory. Though, credit to UnBreakable. They fought back relatively well. They actually, well, I would say fought back. They actually started with a very good scoreline. I think they're up almost 300 points, about 200, 250. Just when it came down later on, the points could not stay in their favor. We had Jiren at 10 kills. We had Deathface at 4. Didn't get to see the other side. Actually, I can see here 13. I didn't see who it was. I didn't get...
Oh, that was
That's
KM.
too quick.
Yeah, that was KM. I think the rest of them had about 6 on the board between themselves. It's kind of just doing a little bit of damage, and then like KM was just, as he normally does, just went absolutely off on one. So he must have done some clutch plays. We saw those couple of snipe kills he got there. In some of those snipes he got, it didn't take too much damage, which is great because normally in those kind of situations where, you know, if you do win a battle against one of the teams and get 3 or 4 down, you know, Unbreakables could just come back and just clean up afterwards. It's basically a back and forth kind of game. But if you're sniping that well, you can get away with a lot of
I did like that. Speaking of sniping Jiren, we saw him. He got like 2 eliminations where he probably shouldn't have gotten either of them because he had the sniper out. He was playing at range. He was letting his teammate be in front of him to kind of tank the damage for him. And eventually to get finished off, I think Migs, who flanked him in top of the barn. But he still got a lot of damage done, and he helped kind of keep that momentum going for Unbreakable. But eventually, that momentum was broken, and Noble were able to pick up the first map. You got to do more of these. You got to get in on it. It's really easy.
What's that?
Just more of these, like, you know, word plays.
I would if I could actually be bothered, but I'll you know what, I'll just let you do it.
Do it for me. Do it for me.
No. It's more the fact that you love doing them.
I don't love doing them.
It's
I
your
just do it because I'm
forte.
not doing them.
Are you just upset?
I'm not going to do them, and now you'll do them for this map, okay? That's the deal.
Well, if it was...
And I'll stop tickling you. That's a
that
good
means
deal.
I have to.
That's a good deal.
That is a good deal.
All
okay,
right.
I'll let you off on that one. Because that means I probably will do my best and try and do that now. But look at the weaponry, like not really too much of a surprise there. I'll be interested to see what ARs they've been using. And we saw before, like, you know, maps like Paradise Island do change the snipes here and there. But it seems like most people have been using the Odin, and only KM and Beerus using the Incinerator. It's a bit weird because, like, they have a wide range of mixes depending on between these 2 weapons, depending on what map choice it is. But I'll be interested to ask them questions in the future to see why they choose certain weapons on certain maps, because they've obviously got quite a good few reasons behind it.
Well, you know what? In just a few weeks' time, we can be asking Unbreakable or forZe as they made their way through into the main event. We've got forZe, Unbreakable, Impact Force, Ind Wolves, and Brazucas. I was trying to make sure I could say their name correctly because there were so many ways that could have went wrong. I'll be participating in that event in Dallas, Texas. I'm actually still curious, like, what event's going on around there at the time. We weren't able to figure it out.
I still don't know. Like, even if I search for it in one way or another, like through any engine, I don't know what it could be.
You're the kind of guy that uses Bing, I bet.
No, I'm not that guy. You're probably the sort of guy who probably use it rather than me.
You don't use Internet Explorer?
No?
Oh. Yikes. Maybe I'm really showing my true age here. About to kick off our second map. Remember, it's a best of 5, so even if we do see Noble pick up this map, we still will be going at least one more. As we're going to be heading over onto Military Warehouse for some TDM. Nice. Finish my words. We finish each other's
sentences.
Supposed to say sandwiches.
Oh.
I would have been happier. A little bit of Frozen.
Right, looking at this now, as you can see, Noble, good start from then. Gonzo straight away with a triple, all 4 at once, straight off the bat. And, you know...
Look at that point difference.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. It's like, they shouldn't be called Unbreakable. They should be called Breakable at this stage, going into the semis, because, yeah, that was all right. You see, I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
I would have accepted Shatterable.
Yeah? What would you give it out of 10? 3, 4?
I'd be like a 4.7.
Okay, do you know, I'll take that, because even I thought that was bad. But they are trying to make a little bit of a comeback here. Managed to get a couple of frags on the board, but already this lead is a little bit too much. And this is one of Noble's better TDM maps.
Oh, it's starting to show why. 100-point lead here, just a few seconds. And Giorgio able to get another elimination on the board. And this is just, well, it's quite explosive here as Gonzaldino just takes himself. He's like, you know what? I'm not giving you guys this. I'm going to drop myself out of this fight. Deathface able to take down Giorgio, though. Now the lead has been slowly dwindled down. But again, we like to see the use of cover. I feel like, again, because the amount of cover there is, like, any early damage you can do, just a couple of shots to back away, get some burn damage in, get some extra damage on your side is, like, really helpful. I feel like you don't need to rush them down. You just need to get them trickling down in low HP, because a lot of people won't charge you with the shotgun, especially when you get people lurking around a corner just like we have Mix here.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier to flank as it was. Deathface with a great double there from what literally just caught my eye. But again, another snipe from Gonzo. Great stuff from him. Jay managed to trade off, so there is some potential for a comeback, but like I said, this is one of Noble's better maps, and I think they might know that as well. And with a couple of members of Unbreakables, I kind of feel like they focus on their stats a little bit too much, just from the fact that you see that when some of them are a few low points, they kind of panic a little bit, and they seem to do some things they shouldn't be doing. But nading yourself should not be one of the things you'll do at this stage in the game, but look at it now, 150-point gap between these two teams. and it looks like it could be map 2 for Noble.
Oh man, they're just gonna get slaughtered here. Look at that. That was just pretty ridiculous. You can see now 200 points between the two. Just there about 155, yeah, pretty much, because he's playing damn fine here for Gonzalino. And on the other side, top leader is Deathface at 92.
It's a shame really as well because Deathface haven't really had too many good games. That's probably the first time I've seen him do quite decently, but then again,
I did not expect the game to end like that, actually.
No,
I was just looking at the scores like, okay, so he's got, 155, great. Okay, he's got like 90. And then it was over. I was like, wait, what happened? I didn't expect to just drop. I didn't expect to just finish. That's how dominating that was here for Noble.
I think that was one of the fastest games we've actually seen out of the last 3 cups we've done on stream. I'm close to saying that. What do you
you said it, so.
Well, what do you reckon?
I mean, you're not close to saying it. You said it.
Okay, I said it. But what do you reckon? You surely got to agree with me on that one.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. He'll agree anyway.
It's not the. You can say anything and I'll agree to it. Almost.
Okay. There's some things will pop to my head, but I won't be saying that. As we can see there,
come on,
Gonza straight away with that 15 frag contribution. He did some great stuff from the start. You saw he cleaned the entire team up right at the get-go, and I think like for Unbreakable, there's nothing Deathface can do. That's so demoralising there. But Deathface, he's showing up a little bit now, but it's not really saying too much there because every member on Unbreakables was quite similar in the whole frag department.
Oh wait, I can't do it because it's yours, right? I can't do it.
What were we going to say?
Deathface, more like Noble was playing a death ball as they were just rolling over their opponents because they were sticking together. They were constantly just moving together with 2 players to roll over them like a death ball, like StarCraft, Protoss death ball.
Yeah. That was great, by the way.
It wasn't that bad. It's the fact I had to explain it. Unbreakable being broken. I'm lethal.
Well, actually,
I'm sorry. I'm being so rude today. I don't know why.
Maybe just in that kind of mood.
I think having to see you 3 weeks in a row now is just really made me realize how much I miss you during the week.
Oh, it's fine. Well, we still got quite a few more weeks anyway, so...
I think we're actually rooming together in Texas.
Are we?
No.
Oh.
You sounded so excited.
I was quite excited.
Yes.
Yeah, we could be bunk buddies, yeah.
There's no bunks. It's just one bed.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
It's a single. It's not even like a queen.
Oh, so we're sharing a single.
We're real close and personal in Texas, and hopefully we don't eat too much barbecue or baked beans because that room will not be a favorable position to be in, just like Unbreakable right now as they're down 2-0. That was amazing. Hello? That was amazing. That was really good. And you didn't give me anything.
Do you know why? Because I didn't actually hear it. Sorry, mate. The one time I didn't listen to him.
Baked beans, because it'd be a really unfavorable position, just like Unbreakable being down 2-0.
Yeah, I get it now.
Baked beans, beans, they're good for your heart. The more you eat, the more that Unbreakable loses, apparently. But they do have a chance to come back in the series.
That is true. There is still potential.
There's still a chance. We've got Wild West Saloon coming up. So probably not great of a chance, as we've seen Noble on before.
Yeah.
Skyscrapers and Atrium.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 3-0. Like, even though it's more Lazarus pick for Saloon, Noble is still quite good at it as well. And from what I've seen from the objective counter, even in that TDM game, it just felt like it was so one-sided. And I am a little bit worried. Don't get me wrong, Unbreakables, they could come back in one way or another, but it's looking unlikely here from what we've seen in the last 2 maps.
I would agree. I think the fact is Unbreakable did get through in the top 4, so they've already improved on last week's performance. Just both these teams, to be fair. Both these teams have improved drastically over their previous performance in the week before. And it's only the second cup, so still a wide range of cups, a wide range of points that you can still win in the future. But again, all these teams participating, it's only the top 2. And right now, forZe is sitting very pretty, very high and mighty in their first place position.
First place. It's
got a random list in there.
Is that like above first?
What?
First place.
It's worse than third.
Oh, is it? Oh.
It's like first and third.
So it's second? Technically.
Maybe. You average out the third, then yeah, it's second place.
Okay. I'm trying to understand that. I've understood it slightly. I'm just going to class that as second.
I once saw like an announcement. It was like doing like a prize pool breakdown. It's like first, second, and then it was third. I was like, what? Third?
Oh, I know where that's from. That was actually from the game I used to play him.
Was it? I don't...
Yeah.
Okay.
It definitely was.
So it's happened more than once then, because it was definitely not for
I've seen it on my screen about 100 times.
Third.
I'm used to seeing Firth quite a lot.
I bet you would have been happy with a third place finish.
Yeah, actually, I think
it's so easy to lisp after that.
I know. I think it was negative Firth where you would actually get in that.
That was me. Sorry.
Negative Firth.
Yeah. I was so bad, I actually like placed negatively in a ranking system that doesn't have negatives.
You were so good you created your own placement.
Yeah, or it was so bad they gave me a special one. You know, it's like a participation award. It's like, Jason, you did so bad.
You got
They give you your own title of negative third place.
Do you know what? You can have that. You can have that negative first. I hope you enjoy it.
It's going to catch on, I tell you. You know what else is going to catch on? Potentially a win streak here for Noble in their third map here of this best of 5 series. This one can close out the series, and the next one from Unbreakable do win it, give them another chance as the Wild Wild West has kicked off here. And you know what? It's definitely high noon.
It definitely is, yes. We've heard that before from something you really enjoy. I know you do more than anything looking at me like that. I'm seeing that now. They were training off quite well to begin with, but Noble have just completely gone off now. Bills does have that top saloon control, so he's got a wide range of what he can do here in that kind of situation. But Gonza's going straight behind him here. Could be a grid flank from him, but it doesn't matter anyway. Jiren does drop down, but does get some trades anyway. So that's 3 down now for Noble. This is a good chance for them to get the hill back, see what they can do. But look at this now. KM, even though he's not even the best of spots, he's doing such a good job to staying alive. And then when I said staying alive, I thought he was going to sit back on the wagon, but instead get that double anyway.
Someone call the Bee Gees because he's staying alive.
Oh my god.
That's what the...
That was a good one. Staying alive. Yeah, I know you mean. I actually got that one.
We're old. I feel like most people, they're like, Bee Gees? What?
Yeah, they're like, what's
They mean Bungie? Like, I don't know. Gonzaldino means damage here. He means some serious work because he gets himself a nice little double. So does Jiren, though, with a nice snipe. Switch to shotgun. But 382 to 295 points so far in favor of Noble.
Yeah, you'll see KM there. He loves that bottom middle spot. He was sitting there with snipe the entire time. Nice to see if he hasn't changed things up too much, but not really too much of a surprise here, because in that spot when you've got the entire team down, it's so good to put on the pressure from such far distance, and it forces Unbreakable to trying to be a little bit more closed off. But looking at the scoreline now, 200-point gap from what we've seen previously. You know, it was very neck and neck, and they did have that point, but look at this now. Noble still sitting back in KM with such good control, just keeping them at bay, and is getting so much damage done as they try and push up, but just not giving them the chance here.
Trying to take that high ground, so you can see proving to be very difficult here for Unbreakable, because there's so many people already looking that direction. They got a sniper ready to go. They got a couple of backups with the assault rifles as well. That lead of 200 points is quickly turned into, you know what, over 300. That's 100 more than previous here, Lethal, and it's showing honestly no signs of stopping.
Yeah, this is what I kind of expected Noble to get this game 3. From what we've seen from the first game, they were so dominant, and even though that was control at the time on this hill, they're also very good at Saloon. Like, maybe as good as Lazarus, maybe Bear. We haven't seen them both play against each other and Saloon, so I don't want to make judgment as of that as of yet. But right now, Unbreakable need an absolute miracle to come back here. Nokia with elimination streak finally gets taken down. But look at this, their bottom mid control is so good, and even though Unbreakable try and get, you know, the high side of Saloon or try and get the inside of Saloon, it doesn't really help too much, because the height control doesn't matter too much if you're keeping an eye on the open space from the wagon.
Well, you know what's Unbreakable right now? Nokia, just like the phone. Can't smash it, can't beat it. And it doesn't get better than the old school, as the new school of Nokia comes around with 13 kills for himself. 230 points, actually tied Gonza right under him with a 4 frag difference. So that's actually showing like how well they're able to actually control the point and try to maintain it and really play off the back of that. Yeah,
that's right. Ian had 4 less frags and 3 less assists. His objective work was so good, but Gonza's so aggressive. He's just one of those guys. He won't mind, you know, doing the dirty work to see if we can get done here and there. But it just shows, you know, it's not just all about sitting back and slaying and trying to do what you can from that wagon. Like, KM had such good bottom mid control. It gets to the point where, you know, when you go back and forth with the slays and actually try and get something done, normally you do take a lot of damage and you have to try and survive as much as you can next time round. But KM was just sniping so well and getting all that damage done. There wasn't really too much Unbreakables could do here. I think they kind of had the wrong mindset on what needs to be done strategy-wise. But like I said before, Nokia, 22 elimination contribution, positive 8 there. Great stuff from him. And again, Jiren top on the board of Unbreakable. So from what we've seen, Jiren seems to be one of their star players.
Yeah, he's definitely been top multiple times now today. Can't think of how many in particular. I don't think I can even count that high. But he's been able to consistently be up, like you said, and definitely proven to be one of their top players. It's just unfortunate that Tournament of Power didn't work out for him and his universe this time. But we'll see them obviously into next week's Cup as well. We'll be seeing them in just a few weeks' time in Texas.
That is right. We'll see them.
You know, we should take them all to some barbecue. You know what?
Yeah.
Just get them all. Let's go get some food.
have a good chat, chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'll definitely go down for that anyway. And looking at the web,
I don't have to convince you. I mean,
anything you say, I'll go. Like, you know,
Anything?
I'm easy. Okay, okay, maybe not anything because I don't know what.
We should go get
pops up in
some
your mind.
milkshakes. Did you know? Okay, this is kind of off topic here.
Okay, go.
So you know, like the daily calorie intake someone should have is like around 2,400 a day.
Yeah, it's 2,500 for male and 2,000 for female.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't. Okay. So there's milkshakes at some place. I'm not gonna say what place in particular, but it's a well-known breakfast fast food chain. It's like 1,400 calories. But if you get the extra side of it, it goes up to like 1,800 calories. You almost eat your entire daily intake just from one milkshake.
That's ridiculous. See, this is why I always put on weight every time I go to the States.
Yeah, well, duh.
It's just making absolute sense anyway. But
Let's
yeah,
make a contest. Who can put on the most weight in the U.S.?
I'd rather not because I'm fat as it is.
He's not lying. He's not lying. He's lying. I'm sorry. He's lying. He's not fat was the direction I was going. But you know what? That's going to be our third match done. We still have one more to come. It's going to be our finals. Now, forZe have a chance to win back-to-back weekly cups here. And we'll be heading to that break in just a few moments. We'll be coming back with forZe up against Lazarus in a bit. Welcome back, everyone, to Season 2 of the Guns of Boom Challenger Series. I'm Jason Kaplan. He's Lethal. And we're about to get underway here with our final of our week number 2 cup. We've got forZe, the reigning champions from last week, up against Lazarus, who have risen from the dead from last cup to have a second chance here to get a first-place finish in this new season.
Yeah, you know, they got third place, so I think if they win this one, they hopefully should be able to get into that top 2 spot.
100%, because Dust2 didn't place well, since they got knocked out by Noble, I believe.
Yeah, that was the first round. I think we even said in the first cup as well, like after it finished, we were like, you know, there's a chance one of these top 4 teams will actually play against Noble. Sadly, it was Dust2 eSports, which is why you haven't seen him in the top 4 this week. But, you know, things will stabilise a lot more in terms of the seeding points going into the next cup, because by then everyone has enough to kind of even things out with the bracket, which we will see. It's very normal in the first couple of cups in those kind of situations there. But looking at the bracket so far, forZe really strong, not really too much of a surprise there, but UnBreakables have struggled in those 2 matches, so it's hard to say how good forZe are right now. Lazarus have played him before, it was close, but forZe did take him 2 cups ago. And, you know, if they do win this, I don't want the other EU teams thinking, well, you know, that first place spot's already gone. We need to try and get that second place.
Let's be fair.
We need some of these teams to kind of take out forZe in that quarter to semi-final kind of area to kind of bring them back down a little bit.
I mean, UnBreakable had 295 points, I believe it was, at the end of last season. The last set of cups. And I think like in the last cup they got like nothing. Or like minimal points. So it's I
think it was nothing.
They were up like really high in points, and we're gonna see forZe if they win this up to 200 already after just 2 cups. So they could have basically. I think is they might have locked in first place guaranteed, but as long as they do like consistently okay, not even well, not even great, just do consistently okay the rest of the time. If they win this, I think they're through in top 2.
Yeah, it will be guaranteed if they stay in the top 4, top 8 kind of area. Like, you know, they don't want to do it every time, because if you get teams like Lazarus and Noble consistently getting top 2, top 3, that's when they're going to start getting a little bit worried. I would say maybe at least, say if they win this one, for example, if they get like at least 3 first, maybe 4, then that's almost guaranteed to be at least in that top 2. But right now, forZe, they know they're in a fantastic spot here. They know they've got at least 175 points going into this, wanting to get that 200 maximum to go forward onto this. Because, you know, they're going to want this more than anything. And it seems like they are the online god squad here. They just seem to be unstoppable. There's nothing we can do to actually try and figure out a way to stop them here. But Lazarus, they have taken a game off them before in that best of 5. But if anyone team can do it, Lazarus, we saw how well they played it in games 1 and 3. There's no reason why they can't take forZe down.
I was really hoping you would say they're unbreakable.
Do you know, I was this close, but I held myself.
You gave me like 1 wordplay in the last map.
I think that's enough.
Game. You got to give me at least 3 in this series.
That's taking the mickey a little bit.
So you're not up to the challenge?
I am up to the challenge. I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll try.
Who's also up to the challenge?
Yeah.
Lazarus.
Yes,
they want that first place finish. The thing is, if they do win this one, they're not in first place, but they're guaranteed. I think there was a guaranteed second as is, because Dust2 got pretty much nothing. But this kind of sets themselves like further ahead of the pack, gives them a nice buffer, right? And I think that buffer is really important. Like again, if UnBreakable in one of the cups didn't place as well as they did, maybe they dropped out like 1 round before, we could have never seen them in top 2. So that buffer is super helpful.
Yeah, I think from the top of my head, working out points-wise, if Lazarus do win this, they will be in second, but it's by like 25. So forZe, it's going to be a lot more pressure on them, because you could have Lazarus very close behind him, and it wouldn't surprise me that some other couple of teams, maybe like Dust2 eSports, have a really good cup in the next couple of ones, or Noble, you know, keep getting that consistent top 4, top 2 spot every single time. It's not a guarantee. That's why I keep saying you need at least 300 or 400 points just to be in that kind of gap where you're in the safe zone. You know, it's not guaranteed, but at least you're in a good spot.
Let's test our production crew here and see if we can get the standings at the end of last week put up. Not the updated standings from what we have so far in this cup, but kind of see where people did lie, because the point system obviously is a major thing. First place 100 points, second is 75, third is 50, fourth is 40, fifth rate is 25. So they're like these gaps do grow quite a bit, and again, these gaps are 100% needed, because if you have just that one bad week, if you're Dust2 now, right? You finished really well. You finished second place. You get knocked out by a team who got matched up, or you got knocked out by a team Noble who got matched up against Lazarus in round 1. Now you got matched up against them in round 1. Like, you kind of have this awkward time now where they're going to again potentially be meeting up against some big names. But luckily for them, because they have the points under their belt, they won't be meeting any of the really big dogs off the bat. I don't think that can be possible with the way seeding works since they have 75 points themselves. But that just kind of shows like just that 1 week with things getting crazy, with the seedings, getting settled down and getting more, more normalized, how it can kind of just knock you out and knock you out of the rankings. They're not out just yet because obviously it was just one cup, but still that it has to make them really put themselves into gear into Cup 3.
Yeah, I think what we've seen so far with Cup 3 now, it's like, so this is Cup 2, but with the next two, I think the next one, it should be at least guaranteed stabilised. We're going to see a lot of these top teams not match each other first round or second round in round of 32 or 16. It's going to be at least a quarterfinal. So this is where it gets a bit scary. So every top team is always going to be guaranteed points. And that's where, with forZe and Lazarus, they're going to be top 2 after this match anyway, no matter what the circumstances is, if they come first or second. But it's going to worry them a little bit because now that they're going to avoid the first and second round defeats unless some unknown team somehow manages to take them down, it's going to be very difficult. So maybe some of these quarterfinal matches we'll see in the future for Cups 3 and 4 onwards, it's going to mean very, very difficult. And, with forZe now, they're going to struggle a little bit because they may, even though they got that top seed, that means that if they do win this, they may be playing against someone who's 7th or 8th, like UnBreakables again, or maybe Dust to eSports because they actually lost the last one. It's going to be very hard, but that's what makes things so much more interesting because it's not just the semis, it's the quarterfinals, which would be a little bit more of a struggle. So you may see different teams in the top 4 each time.
I almost want to see another tournament at the end of the 8 weeks. Like have a playoff tournament, like a playoff bracket.
Yeah.
And then you take like the top 8, play them according to their seeding. So you give like teams who have had maybe that one bad, roll of the dice getting matched up against like Noble against Lazarus off the bat or something like that. You can kind of eliminate that by giving teams a chance to break through and their chance to kind of redeem themselves. And obviously the way seeding works, you have the best versus the worst and stuff like that. That'd be interesting. Maybe something to look into for future events, maybe into our next season. Because we still have Gods of Boom coming around the corner. It's squeaking by. It's getting there. We've got Texas coming up in a few weeks. We've got Brazil coming up in June. We've got another event, Gods of Boom, coming up in July. So there's still a lot of action coming for all these teams and a lot of chances for them to really kind of live up their own game and get themselves through into one of these major events. And more importantly, get to meet Lethal.
They get to meet you as well, mate.
Yeah, that's not that great of a prize.
No? Oh, okay. Well, it's the same for me.
People don't realize how tall I am, by the way. I've had this
I've had to put my chair fully up just to kind of like keep up with this height.
I've had this awkward moment happen across my almost 7 years now of just people like, I never realized you were so tall. I'm like, yeah, well, why do you think I'm always sitting whenever we do anything casting-wise? I've legitimately back 2 years ago in August during Gamescom, I was working an event, and we had a desk, and we would rotate people on the desk. And every time I was there, they had to make everyone sit down.
Well,
because I was too much taller than everyone else. Story of my life. Planes suck for me because my knees, I have no room. Yeah, I can reach things on high places, but, we fly here every weekend, so, planes
Lights
really
must
rough.
Be really bad for you. Like, at least for me, I'm quite short, so it's like...
I grew 6 inches in 3 months when I was younger. So if you guys are wondering, it's like this much. It's like here to here. 6 inches in 3 months, and that was the probably worst pain of my life, feeling like your bones were being broken every night and put back together.
Yeah, because you must be, what, like 6 or 7 inches taller than me? You have to be.
I mean, we could stand on camera, but then it'll just be my crotch and then your head above the edge of the screen.
It'll just look proper bad, I think.
Yeah.
I think we'll avoid that.
Probably, for now.
Probably not the worst thing. But
if you're wondering why we're talking about random nonsense, because we're still waiting for the whole lobby to get set up here, I think most players are about to be ready, and we should be getting this one underway. It's going to be best of 5. We've got Farming Complex, Military Warehouse, Wild West Saloon, Skyscraper, and Atrium, if we do need those 4th and 5th maps. Predictions, Lethal. As I can see, we're about to get into the game.
Well,
5 seconds or less. Give me your prediction.
Okay, 3-1 Lazarus.
Okay. I didn't expect you actually be able to do it, so let's kick things off here. Let's see if it's going to be 3-1, or in my head, it's going to be a 4-0 for forZe.
How does that work?
Right. How does that work? Well, it doesn't. So now that I know you are listening to me, because you did my little thing earlier on about the beans, the baked beans. So 3-0 for Lazarus. Sorry, not Lazarus, for forZe.
I love how you trying to catch me off guard, then.
Actually, I messed that up completely.
I knew you did.
I'm just going to take that one to the chin. I messed it up completely. But you know what? Who did mess things up? The initial gecko for forZe.
That's right. forZe forcing things into their hands now with that nice point lead. Yeah, that's, I've done it right.
I'll accept it.
Oh, cheers, mate. Cheers. With a 14-point gap now. A little bit of a good start from Lazarus, but it looks like forZe just trying to increase the lead as much as they can. I wish they have done. Nice 2 frags there. 3 frags. 4 now for forZe, and every member of Lazarus is down here, so we can see what Lazarus can do here off spawn.
Oh, he got unlucky there, Romeo. He was trying to actually flank around, capture the point when everyone else was in a different direction. But he did eventually get caught on. But Divine King was able to fight back. Unfortunately, Hale's going to be there to stop him yet again. So he'll be able to maintain control of A. But he's going to lose B. He's going to lose C. Nice little shot of Lord Mono does shut things down. So this should be actually getting a little bit of point closure for Lazarus to close this distance between the two. As they're just about 100 points and that's slowly dwindling away.
Yeah, they ruined forZe's death cycle a little bit. You know, they took 3 down all at once, but at the same time, when they took out the 4th member, they took him out quite late on. So hopefully that'll separate forZe a little bit coming into this, and it's going to help Lazarus catch up. But as you can see, it has done now. Not too far behind. forZe did increase their lead quite a lot now, but we'll have to see what Lazarus can do to try and keep up. But with Divine King with a double there, it's really helped Lazarus get into the swing of things now, and it seems like forZe are running out of options.
The enemy captured point C.
Okay, they still have some time to work with here. Be up to 1,200 between the two. And Lazarus able to really build up a massive lead, considering how far they were down. Able to keep their composure and really come together when time did really matter. Unfortunately for forZe, Lord Mono just comes in, takes down 2.
Yeah, it just seems to be no stopping them here. Once you get Lazarus going, they just literally do not stop with Exons getting another frag. Divine King taking another one down, but Exons is so weak. Anything yet, there we go. Nice little frag from their lead there. Held to get one, and Divine King as well, but could be a little bit too late here. They still have the opportunity, but Romeo just manages to stay alive. Gonna get the point on the board there as well. Almost a trip cap here, and it looks like this could be game 1 for Lazarus.
Point C.
Nice little smile. Like I literally heard the smile as you were talking because you're that cocky now. getting your map.
I'm a humble man.
Lazarus.
I'm a humble guy.
Yeah, you're the most humble person you know, right?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
You know who also said that? Never mind. I'm going to mention his name. 11:75, and this should be over in just a few seconds. You can see, though, forZe does have 2 points, but with only 3 points to go here, Lazarus will be able to close out our first map and go up 1-0 so far in the series.
That's right. As you can see now, Roma with a lot of assists there. Got so much damage done there, as you saw, especially towards the end of the game. The Divine King, 11 frags under his name, but Larson did such a good job as well. 20 frag contribution there. He did so much work for his team, but just didn't manage to show up for the rest of them.
I feel like we need to have like a 1v1 show match when we get into Texas. Maybe like a 2v2.
What, between
some unannounced talent that will potentially be going.
Do you know what? I wouldn't mind that. But
you and me versus the other two.
We could do that, but you got to remember that after
game.
like a few games of Guns of Boom, my eyes just like I just go blind pretty much.
It doesn't matter. You got me on the team.
Yeah, but it's 1v2 technically since I
see these biceps. I can carry.
As long as they like put like the phone screen on the monitor, then I can already be able to play. But yeah. But anyways, looking at the screen as you can see,
get you LASIK surgery, and then we're good.
Yeah, okay. Well, actually, no, I'm going to another eye test next week, so maybe I'll get some stronger glasses for myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But like I mentioned before, Larson there, 20...
glasses.
Yeah. Yeah, I need him desperately. 20 frag contribution there from him. And Divine King, you can see there, only with 11 elimination, 4 assists, but did so much objective work. They managed to stay alive in so many different situations with so many clutch kills to help his team out with the win there.
Yeah, and again, I think we've seen this multiple times now when it comes to control point of how important it is to play the objective game. Yeah, you know, these eliminations are great. You get some good points built up. But the control game of the points, that's where the real money's to be made, and the real victories and leads can be given to your team if you're able. Actually, well, fought for. They're not really given. You fight for them tooth and nail, and we do have Lazarus off to the strong start. But we're moving on to TDM next on Military Warehouse, and we've seen how different team style can really be when it comes, you know, to map type, to game mode,
Yeah, that's right. Normally with this map, I said it before, it's one of Noble's better maps, but Lazarus are actually quite good at this as well. And just look at the weapon there. Literally everyone using the Odin apart from Romeo. But that makes perfect sense now because he seemed to sit back quite a lot. And that's why he had so many assists, just due to the fact that getting so much damage and afterburn on the board. But he managed to, you know, he didn't really have to push up too much. To sit back, hold some of the angles here and there, just to kind of give his team like that extra damage output, just to kind of help him out to actually push him with the avalanche.
Like that's my kind of style.
What's that? Just
like, hey guys, I'm helping you. I'll hit him with like a couple bullets and be like, okay, I got the burn damage. Our next target. All right, got the burn damage. Like, guys, I'm helping. I got the 10 assists.
I'm not gonna lie. I've actually done that. I do that quite a few times. If I'm just like about to get like put down by someone, I literally just try and get at least one shot off to just get that burn effect in. And I'm just like, yeah, I've done a lot.
Yeah, I feel like I've always been a support player in most games I've ever played. I feel like I've never been like the standout, but I think I'm a damn good support player. You'll be the standout DPS for our team, for you and me, up against the other two.
Yeah.
It could happen. I think we'll smash them easily because I know one of the other casters, he's just garbage at every game we've ever played.
I know who you're talking about, and yeah, I can't wait to find that.
The American bloke?
Yeah, that bloke, yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Literal garbage at every game I've ever seen him play.
Yeah, and yeah, you got the honours of being in the same region as him.
I'm more European, you know.
You are technically EU now. Like I
say football, I don't say soccer, so I'm clearly European.
Okay, yeah, I'll accept that. At least you don't say soccer like most North Americans do. But we're going straight into the second game now, and as you can see there, straight away Divine King, 2 eliminations of his own, but Deadly with a trade of his own also got 2. So things are going to even out a little bit here. A little bit of damage taken from Deadly here, but they're just waiting to see what Lazarus are going to do from the get-go. But there's 3 members of forZe all on one side, waiting for him just to come at them. But Deadly, nice nade from him. Elimination streak already going into this, and Larson gets another trade on Mano.
We talk about, forZe when it comes to LAN. You see these sweet little swagger that, or I should say swag that Lazarus has. I mean, their names on their own jerseys, and you look for forZe have played multiple LANs, but they don't have their own thing, right?
Yeah.
Not only playing for money, playing for the chance to get there, playing for the money, then playing for their own stuff in game as well. It would be something that would be very rewarding to them.
Yeah, it's a bit weird because they've had a couple of events, but there's very good online, like I said, like an online God Squad at the moment. But offline, they just seem to really struggle from the get-go. Like, they've been knocked out both first round every single time. But, these players could be late bloomers. Maybe in the NA Pro Series, they might actually be able to change things up a bit because they've already got automatic top 4 no matter what because they're going with the #1 seed. So it's going to put the pressure off them just that little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that counts as a victory, right?
Yeah, I'd take that, to be fair.
I don't. No,
mate. If it was me,
play
I'll
a match.
anything.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'll
But
take anything.
we're not players. We're the commenters. There's a reason we're not players because we're terrible at video games. You were good at one point. I've never been good at them. I've been decent at talking about them.
We're just both as bad as each other now.
That's not true. We were literally playing something before we came on air, and you smashed me multiple times.
See, I'm humble. I'll never say stuff like that. I'll just let you crack on and say it. But Larson now, Maz get a double of his own, and as you can see there, Lazarus managed to take that lead. But forZe now, they need to be a little bit careful what they need to do, but as I say that, Larson managed to push straight away in, and he was actually weak anyway. Divine King got a very crucial trade there. Romeo managed to get one of his own. Hale gets another one, and Divine with a nice double there. So just trying to add insult to injury. Another double elimination from Divine King there, trying to get a triple, which he does do, and an elimination streak for him, just to try and make matters worse. And this could be a 2-0 for Lazarus here if forZe don't think of something quick.
I swear, Divine King is so good at these flanks. Like, his map awareness is just so top-notch. I mean, well, that's him or the communication with the team, but I've seen him multiple times now just go for these flanks and just getting behind enemy players and able to get like 2-3 eliminations to really get a lot of points on the board. You can see another one for him. 13 already for himself as we're about to actually finish off our second map. 470 to 369. You know what? Let's just run it to 370. There's about a 100-point difference between the two.
Yeah, it's a weird one because with Divine King, he's kind of like Migs in a way where as soon as he sees an opening, a weakness, he'll exploit it any way he can. He seems like someone who does trial and error every situation very well. And it just, kind of makes sense really because what's the point of fixing something which ain't broken? But forZe gets a couple of frags on the board, but I think it's just going to be a little bit too late here as the final frag comes in from Romeo. And there we have it, Lazarus taking the second map on the board. But look at that from Divine King, 14 frags and 7 assists with 236 points. He was doing so much that game, but didn't really need too much.
He almost has more points than the top 2 players from forZe. Almost.
Yeah, that's
just by a 12-point difference.
That's literally it. It's crazy stuff. We saw Excellence going absolutely ham last time and in the last cup, and now it's Divine King's turn,
Yeah. That's maybe the luxury of being on the team is that you don't have to be the player to step up every time. Everyone can kind of do it at any given moment, on any given Sunday, and on any given map.
That's you took the words right out of my mouth there, and Deadly.
Liar! You were never gonna say that.
I was gonna probably say something completely polar opposite there. But 8 eliminations from Deadly, some good stuff. I'm in with a +1, and Divine King, like I mentioned before, contributing to 21 frags. +7 ratio, you can't really complain there. He's just going absolutely off. But this is the thing with Lazarus. Any one of these guys on this team can just take one for the team. So, you know, if it's not Divine King or his excellence, you know, Mano is another player. You know, he's very assertive. You know, he's got high morale. He's sometimes one of those players who does step up when things need to happen. But Romeo's also very, very strong. You know, you don't really see too much from him on the scoreboard sometimes, but he does so much DPS.
He's a good assister.
He is. He's a good assister.
That sounds weird.
Yeah,
right?
that did sound weird. That's why I, for some reason, just wanted to repeat it.
He's not a brother, he's a sister.
Yeah. Sister from another mister. Do you not get that? Is that just a UK saying?
I mean, I get it.
Oh, it just sounded weird.
Just wanted to let you sit there with that one.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Next time you say a joke, I'm just going to sit there and just look at you.
Oh, it was a joke.
Yeah, it was. Oh, yeah, it is a joke. I know. Funny enough, I do say jokes sometimes.
Just not very good ones. I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
So we're going to our third map, Wild West Saloon. I feel like this just has Lazarus again all over it. It's been playing better on the first two maps. It's going to be a mix of CP and TDM, and they've shown they can win on both those types so far.
I'm going to agree with this one. I think it could actually be a 3-0. This is Saloon. This is like one of Lazarus' better maps. I'm very worried for forZe at this stage. And you saw the weaponry from there. But, you know, you've got two players on forZe using a porcupine on that. And on that map, I can kind of understand because it's more close-based situations, even though it's a little bit open, a little bit more narrow on either side. But, you know, Lazarus, this is one of their maps. It's going to be so hard for them. It's hard for me to not say this is not going to be a clean sweep and a 3-0. And if they take this, then this, what a great start for them. Well, not a great start, but what a great way to come back into things after getting third place in the last cup.
Okay. Quick little 3-for-1 exchange, 4-for-1 exchange. That's a nice point difference here if you're a fan of forZe, and they're going to be happy about this. But again, we already saw before, Lazarus can come back from these deficits, and they can do it pretty easily and pretty quickly, as you see now with them getting 3 eliminations. They should be able to get the 4th, this hail will fall. And now they get the point back for themselves. So can they hold on to this? Can they maintain this little high ground play of Divine King so he's not hit by the splash damage on the low ground from the explosions, but eventually he's going to be overrun. He tries to get close, tries to get some damage done before he does get finished off here. And now the run's going to be coming back in for both these two teams, trying to get control of A.
I'm surprised that weren't, because Lazarus managed to get 3 down, but forZe, like 3 of the members still went out clearly in the open, and then it could have been a choke point for them, but somehow they managed to stay alive. But Divine King there, with a double of his own, was trying to go for the triple, got a bit overzealous there, but X has managed to clean up anyway. He's trying to look for a double of his own, which he does. Finally gets cleaned up, but still, forZe, quite surprising on, I'll probably say one of Lazarus' map picks.
The Lazarus isn't watching high ground, and we've constantly seen forZe exploit that. I feel like they just drop it on the point, completely catch the enemy team off guard. You can see now Deadly flanking him from behind, eventually will be shut down by Excellence, but still, this constant pressure from the high ground is really being a nuisance. Divine King, he's going to be the one up there, though, to contest it and not allow them to actually take control of this another time. And that gap of 100 points we had before is pretty much just null and void now. As you can see, Divine King going to rush in, and he had actually a player behind him, but he's going to actually be dropped off here by Deadly.
Yeah, Divine King, he loves that high saloon spot. He always likes to try and sit back a little bit and then wait for the opportunity to actually push in and get behind him. He does it. It doesn't do it every single time, of course, because that'd be too predictable. But, you know, it's one of his favourite things to do on this map. You see him do it quite a lot. And as you see, another double there. From Divine King, Excellence managed to get one of his own. A triple, sorry, from Divine King. I thought Excellence was the one who managed to pick that up, but sneaky beaky Divine King there managed to get that 3rd anyway. So it's definitely one of his better maps as well. And a double from Larson anyway, so he managed to at least kind of conflict that a little bit more. Deli with one of his own, so keeping Lazarus on spawn here.
Drop comes back in, A is still going to be maintained. See, Exo's able to get in here, but I imagine this shouldn't really be a fight he's going to win. There's a lot of players around him. And it looks like the man advantage will be on the side of forZe. They've been maintain control, 756 points to 630. Maybe we're going to see a 4th map coming in here to see Larson just find on top of the point, 9 kills for himself. Lord Mao trying to come back in. Divine King gets shut down, trying to go for the flank, but Excellent gets himself a nice double. He's still got 2 more to find, though, to take the point back, and eventually he will be finished off. And we have a 200-point lead now here for forZe. I feel like we're definitely seeing that 4th map here, Lethal.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. It's not really worked out for Lazarus too much here. It seems like they're a little bit... I've put this as just a little bit messier than usual, a little bit hectic, and I think they've been struggling to find their groove to try and stabilise in this, which is fair enough. A great play by forZe, considering the situation they were in. And Deadly, 14 frags and 9 assists.
Maybe they should call Stella. No? You don't get it?
No.
Come on, you're as old as I am. You're older.
No, you're older. What are you on about?
Or am I?
Yeah, I'm younger than you.
We said they lost their groove. Maybe they should call Stella.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, now I get it. Still bad, though.
Thing is, no one at home is going to get that joke. 'Cause I feel like most people are like a lot younger than us.
Yeah, well, at least a decade.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oof.
Actually, no, that's a bit harsh on us.
I mean, you're only like 35, right?
We'll take 5 years off.
So like 40?
That's odd. You're about 40, aren't you?
Well, you know who almost had 400 points? Deadly's at 312, getting close to that 400 points for himself. That is a lot, considering you only need 1,000 to win. He had 300 for himself, really living up to his name. On the other side, though, Divine King, yeah, he was top of the board for his team, but he really just generally got shut down. Those flanks didn't work out for him. The high ground control, he wasn't able to maintain because he was consistently being shot down from there. So really good adaptation by forZe to realize what was going wrong for them and kind of correct it mid-game.
Yeah, I didn't really talk about Deadly too much, in all fairness. Probably a bit of a bad part from us because he did play really well. We saw
2-0, so...
Yeah, we did see some doubles from him, but I didn't really see him do too much. I think it just made the fact that like you didn't see too much for the kill feed, but he obviously got a lot of single kills here and there, probably some of the most important ones, which was absolutely necessary to actually keep that hill involved. And it's just a real, pretty much riding the struggle bus. I'm just surprised that Lazarus managed to lose on one of their better maps. That's why I just assumed it's going to be a clean sweep. Well, I wasn't absolutely certain of it, but
I'll
it's
say
more...
3-1 for Lazarus, so...
I said 3-1, so...
Yeah. As I said, you did say 3-1 for Lazarus.
Yeah, I thought you said we.
No, I said you.
Oh, okay.
I can take an L.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I can't because I'm just being me. But Romeo was the only one using the Incinerator there. Everyone else using the Odin. It seems like... Didn't really seem to be a matter of map choice. It's just what they prefer. Everyone using the Scout. Not really too much of a surprise there because with a map like Hill, you want to try and be as aggressive as possible, which is why they were always using that Scout. And it seems like two of them were still using that Porcupine, even though it's a slightly more of an open map, but each to their own.
That is true. Each to their own. And if they know how to play that situation and play that weapon in those situations, then hell, you can't really argue against them. But that does mean we're going over to Skyscrapers. And the last time we saw this map, was it week 1?
forZe took it, if I remember rightly, because they were going back and forth, and then like whoever had the lead were playing passive, and then
they came back last second and they retreated and played defensive.
Yeah,
and that was Dust2 had a charge against them, and they just were out of time. That was actually a really crazy finish to that series. But hopefully we're gonna have something like that yet again here. I mean, it's only the 4th map. We still could see our 5th and final with Atrium, and let's go here. We're gonna drop into this one. Currently, Lazarus with the 2-1 lead.
Yeah, this is definitely going to the time limit here. I love Skyscraper because even though it's a little bit stalematy in a lot of situations...
we're probably getting a remake here. I would imagine. Because I know Romeo was talking earlier about some problems.
Ah, that could be true, yeah. I'm not really too sure. Maybe they're just actually waiting for each other to make the first move. That can happen quite a lot in this game type. It's a very common thing, but it looks like... No, there is not going to be disconnected. It's actually going to carry on. So Divine King managed to get that first strike on board straight away anyway, waiting for them to come through. And even though they've got a few trades there, Lazarus still comes out on top, but it's like I mentioned before, on a map like this, it can be a stalemate right from the get-go, and it can be playing a lot more defensive just to try and not consume as much damage as which they need to do as necessary here. But Lazarus, just a kill ahead here. We're looking at this now and going to see what they can do here. But another frag on the board for Romeo. And another one for Divine King here. So a little bit more aggressive than usual. They've got the top mid control and they managed to get the bottom mid as well. So they're trying to get the angles here, which they managed to do. Mano with a double there. Stason and Hell managed to get the trade anyways. But Lazarus in a great spot. Just need to make sure to hold those angles. Make sure to be careful on any of the grouped up flanks, which is going to happen here now. And Deadly and the crew are going to all push in here. Deadly gets one, Lazarus gets two, but excellent with the rocket there. Gets a double of his own, gets a triple elimination just to clean the rest of them up. He could get that last one, but he's just playing it safe and does get cleaned up.
And that's the downside of pushing together. Yes, it can net you a lot of damage and a lot of quick kills without losing anyone on your team, but if those explosions go off, you're just going to be completely punished. Look at this. Lazarus is going to be the one to push out and get aggressive here. And again, they clean up a 3-for-1 exchange. So that's back-to-back 3-for-1s, and that lead of 100 points with 3 minutes left, they can just sit back and just enjoy this. As long as they get equal trades, they should easily come up with a 3-1 win.
Yeah, normally the saying goes the best defense is a good offense, and at this stage it seems to be working for them. Even though they've taken quite a lot of damage, they're still managed to come out on top. But this is where we're going to see some of the frags come aboard. They've taken so much damage at this point. it'll be weird if they didn't get any of the trades here, which they do anyway. So they managed to get a few more frags on the board. Still a 60-point gap between these two teams, 50 now. And look at this, Divine King with another double. Like these last few maps, he's just been going absolutely off on one. Managed to get another one in the end with Mano. Managed to get that last one here and all 4 down for forZe. And forZe really need to try and adapt before they get a bit too carried away.
I'm just curious, is this going to come down to time, or will we actually see the 500-point limit come into effect? There's definitely a chance with how aggressive both teams are playing. I mean, I respect the way we've seen both teams group up together and push, especially forZe when they lost 2 players to, I believe that was Excellence with a nice little explosive damage. You kind of have to make plays happen, and I feel like one of the worst things that could happen to your team is playing too passive, and with too little time on the board, just lose it based off time alone because you didn't get aggressive earlier on, because you didn't try to close that distance, that gap between the two. And that gap is it's kind of maintaining. You know, it's not quite 100, but it's still just around that area. We're seeing forZe start to finally, you know, maybe close it down to below 50, 60 points. But the thing is, they've taken so much damage every time that they're not able to get fully healed back up before the next fight.
Yeah, because you saw earlier, it wasn't too long about forZe. Lazarus managed to get all 4 down again. And oh my god, Divine King with another triple now, and I think it's going to be over. It's going to be. It's quite rare because normally this map always goes to the time limit every single time, and it seems like Lazarus have definitely changed up their strategy on how to actually play out this map, and it's working so well for them. You mentioned how close it was, and I think Lazarus have just don't like the fact that they have to play it in a stalemate every single time, but they're abusing top mid so well. Elimination streak there, as you saw there, for Divine King now. Hell does get that trade, but it's just going to be a little bit too late here, as we're going to see a potential Lazarus 3-1.
And you say it with a little bit of a smile on your face too, even though...
Because I've got the correct score.
Yeah, all right, you know, a broken clock's got to be right twice in a day.
I'm sorry, man, but yeah. They've just been rough guesses and not been fully accurate.
Let's be fair, though, Lazarus did definitely earn that. You saw Divine King, only 9 kills, but the kills he did have, I think it was 2 triples out of his 9. So that's 6 out of his 9. That's 2/3 of his kills came from those 2 plays. Math, stay in school. Able to also top it as well in points, 165 for himself. So good job there to Lazarus. They take the 3-1. They also close the distance between them and first place after finishing, unfortunately, in 3rd last week. Let's shake our standings up a little bit. Dust 2 is going to drop quite far now since they got 0 points in this cup. Nova's going to jump up quite a bit as well. So it's a nice little shake-up in the standings that we're going to need to see as these weeks continue to carry on.
I'm just very impressed. I'm not going to go through the scores too much because, you know, it doesn't really tell the tale. It's more the fact that that map, how they played it is completely different from before. Because, you know, like I said before, you know, you've got to be as offensive as possible. Like sometimes, you know, retreating isn't the best move just due to the fact that you won't get the best angles. And sometimes you can give the team a little bit more of an opportunity. Maybe it's something you do right at the very end of the game to kind of, you know, keep them guessing on what they're going to do. If they can be aggressive, defensive, like, you know, not really too sure what's going to happen. But you saw at the end that they always made sure when they were top mid, they would get the first shot every single time. And as soon as one member finds out exactly the situation of where the guys at forZe was, some of them would flank around or make the first move. So they wouldn't do anything until they got some kind of information. And it worked every single time. I think they got 4 down at least 2 or 3 times at the bare minimum. And when you've got them on spawn like that, it's so difficult to figure out a way to adapt and try and comprehend what to do next to try and get them off top mid.
Well, I'm actually looking at the standings being updated while looking at all of this, and wow, you're actually seeing some pretty big differences between the top 2 and pretty much the rest of the spread of teams. We'll obviously show the standings in a little bit of time, so I'm kind of just teasing you guys a little bit, just giving you a little, just the tip of what is going to be going on in the standings and the shakeups, and again, how big the differences are. But again, well done by Lazarus. You know, 3-1. Yeah, the Wild West Saloon did get away from them, but they didn't let it get to themselves. They didn't let them get down on themselves, and they just kind of kept that composure. But also, it means we're going to be moving into North America in about half an hour of time, where we have quite a few good teams. We get to see if things are going to shake up there as well, if they're going to maintain the true course of the way things have been going. But obviously, you have to have a little bit of a break before then. They have to wait for the brackets to catch up to where we are. I really want to talk about the standings, but we have to wait.
No, that's fine. You know, I could do math, but it's the fact that I can't actually remember exactly every single team's point of the last 2 cups. So sadly, I'm not psychic, but you know, I would like to be.
What do you mean, photographic memory?
Yes.
You mean psychic too, to remember the standings. You'd be a terrible Pokemon.
Yeah, I'd be awful.
Psychic, and he hurt himself. There was no confusion. He just hurt himself.
No, yeah, I think if I was a Pokemon, I'd probably be like a Magikarp or something.
You do a fantastic splash. I saw you in the pool last time. It's more of a cannonball, but that's all Magikarp needs, trust me, to take down any legendary Pokemon going on in the world. But let's take a look at the legendary standing brackets. The standing brackets from the results from our second cup as I jumped the gun. Even got production confused on that one. As you saw, Lazarus to take first place with forZe second, and then Noble taking third with Unbreakable finally getting the first time on stream, and we got to see him twice. So nice, we got it twice.
Yeah, it's nice. It makes a change, you know. I said it before that we haven't seen them in the last few cups after they've had such a dominating performance in the Winter Series, and we haven't really seen too much in the Spring Series here.
Yep.
But at least we've got to manage to see them in some of the maps. Didn't take one map out of any of the matches, but, you know, we did see only like one close one, maybe, and that was on that Paradise Island, but for the rest of them, it was very open, you know. It was quite easy to actually comprehend this because the fact that how dominating those other teams were over Unbreakables. But you know, like you said before with the scoreboard, forZe and Lazarus very far ahead here, but it does to eSports, them coming second last time round, it's really helped him out. It's kept him that top 4 running, but Unbreakable's managed to slip into that 4th spot as well with Noble falling behind.
Yeah, Noble's in like 6th place with 50, but the difference between 2nd and 3rd place is a 2nd place finish in a cup. Like that's hoping that the other 2 teams of the top 2 don't get any points. So that's actually a massive gap, which will probably continue to develop as the season does go on here. We do have to head to a little bit of an extended break as we get ready for everything in North America, but hope you guys stick with us. We'll be back in about half an hour to kick off the North American Challenger Series.